Welcome to another edition of City Corner. I'm Shanna Smith with the City of Granbury, and on this episode we will cover the Opera House redevelopment project, updates on the Granbury Dog Park, City Communication Tower, event permitting, and so much more. First up is our City Manager, Wayne McKeffin. Thank you, Wayne, for taking time out today to tell us a little bit about what was voted on last night at the City Council meeting. Let's first talk a little bit about the Opera House redevelopment project. Now, we know from our past interviews and past segments, the committee has been meeting and coming up with the recommendations. Tell us what happened last night at the City Council meeting.
Well, the committee brought forth the recommendation that we had worked on that actually approved or was asking for approval of a floor plan that we had designed. Now, we had taken these steps to, and really the reason or the goal of the committee, which I was head of, that I tried to stress was I wanted to define the universe of the issue. Okay, and we knew that we had already had approval of $2.2 million.
Right.
But it had some limitations as to no backstage development, no pit, those kinds of things. And so I wanted to find out from the most ardent supporter of the Opera House, what makes you happy?
Right.
What's it going to take to get the community defined and then start the process? If we're not even addressing what many people in the community want, then we can't ever get resolved, okay, what it is, where we're going. So we defined the universe, and we went and created a floor plan that even pleases the most ardent supporter. Now, the cost of that was $3 million.
Right.
The council did not approve the $3 million, okay? What they approved was, because once we have that universe, then we can talk about how we come together as a community to decide what we do want.
Sure.
So what they approved first was to get started. One of the key things here is to get started. Okay, let's start the process. And Pale Scott of Scott Tucker told us that once he gets an approved floor plan, he can get started. And so that's what we did last night. We approved a floor plan and gave him authority to go forward with the actual detailed drawings of creating this Opera House and building it. And so he's underway on that now.
Definitely.
So the council has done what they need to do. Now, still at issue is, will we spend, and they did not approve the $3 million. We think there can be bids that go out that we can hopefully save money on that. We can do it as efficiently as possible. And we can also make decisions as we go that whether we build it all out now or build into it if we don't have the money or we want to expend that money.
Right.
And so where we're at right now is we know where we're going. We don't know yet exactly how far we're going to go in that process.
Definitely.
That was my understanding.
Right. So tell us a little bit, you talked about defining the universe and kind of all of the components that the proposed design of the Opera House will include. Tell us a little bit about what the council talked about last night. Everything, I know that it's ADA compliant.
ADA.
It includes elevator. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. Well, it does have the basically 4 things that it did on the front lobby, and all through it made it ADA compliant. And you don't know how hard that is in a historic building.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's only certain feet wide and a certain feet long.
Right.
To put where any person, no matter their status, can get to any part of the building. And that's what's required in a public building, unlike private construction. And that's what causes prices to go up, rightfully so, but it does create more work to be done and design. So the fact we are now going to have, first of all, there will be an audio-visual compartment up in the 3rd floor. We'll actually have a 3rd floor to the Opera House. And we have put in a full-size elevator that will take you to the 3rd floor as well. and that's an ADA requirement as well. Because if you have people who need to get up there to work, then they will be able to get up there and work. The major adjustments, though, were related to the development of the backstage. We have now designed exactly what is needed to be a functional theater, where you have like 12 units where actors and actresses can get dressed, can put on makeup. You have 8 or 10 for the male, I think 12 to 14 for the female. You have restrooms in the back, you have a lounge in the back, you have a scenic shop, you have a rehearsal on the second floor. It is a full theater. It's as good, we can bring in any production that we in fact want to into this theater now.
Definitely. So we talked a little bit about now we can get going on at least, now that the floor plan's approved. Tell us a little bit about the proposed timeline. Has the committee brought forth any prospective dates?
Yeah, well, in terms of the contract, yes. The contract says, the current contract says 7 months of construction, and after that he basically owes us $1,000 a day. We did make some changes that might impact that a little bit, but it's basically 210 days, working days, and that's actually calendar days. Now, from this point, he has to go get completed drawings, which he thinks will take at least another 3 weeks. To 4 weeks, and then it's going to go out to bid, which takes another 3 to 4 weeks. So we're looking at probably at this point, by the time we get started, and he's going to go ahead and start on some things, and he hasn't defined what that is, but hopefully we can get started in March. Okay.
Definitely. Well,
and that would be our goal is to be finished before the end of the year. If you add 7 months on to March, you get about October, November time frame. No one's come out with that, but that's in that range.
Well, that's great. I know that there was a lot of community excitement last night after that vote. So, well, we'll go ahead and wrap up the Opera House unless you have anything else to add.
Well, one thing that was mentioned last night and was part of the decision process is we are looking for the community to step up and say they want this as well, to hopefully have some type of donation program. That was mentioned about maybe being able to put for people to be able to purchase seats like you purchase bricks, and look at campaigns of how to raise money, because this is a community effort and it's going to be for the community.
Absolutely. So, and when it's all said and done, it sounds like it'll be a beautiful facility, and the good thing about it, what we've heard last night at council, is that this is being built for the future, for years to come. This will last us.
The people who built the Opera House in the 70s did a wonderful job that lasted into the 2000s, 1970, 2000s, 40 years. Hopefully we're doing the same thing that will service the community for at least 40 years.
Absolutely. Well, I know the community is definitely excited about moving forward on that. Also, something last night that was voted on was the amending the ordinance for the City of Granbury's Code of Ordinance for the dog park. Provide us a little bit of update on the city's new dog park.
Well, the dog park is under construction. We have made a lot of progress there. We are at the point now to where we need, first of all, what we needed to do was to pass the change to this ordinance. Other cities have run into the situation where, if you have an ordinance that says a dog must be on a leash, and then you create something that basically turns the dog loose, you need to change the ordinance such that you allow for dogs to run loose within the park. Now they're confined, but if we had not done that, then if a person had been bitten or injured in some way by another dog, we would be immune in certain cases, but it really gives the community the notice that this is an open range dog park. It's not people walking around with the dogs on leashes. Okay, so it's a dog at large.
Definitely.
And if you go in there, you take the risk, like anybody else, that you decide to go places, you take a risk of being with dogs that are not on leash.
Definitely. Well, and that provides the notice for the public safety, for the community, as well as protection for the city as well.
The dog park right now, we're looking at opening the dog park sometime in April. We have some things to continue to do, to get done, to order signs, to name the park. All those things need to, and we need to finish up the irrigation, because it's important to keep grass in the park and keep it well watered. It is divided into basically 4 components. There's 2 major separations, so that we can have some grass growing while the dogs are in the other part of the park. But also those 2 separations are separated out between small dog and large dog, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're thinking about, we've made it where we will have room. We'll bring in bleachers. We can have tournaments. We can have dog shows. We can have whatever we want to from that angle, and people will really enjoy the dog park.
Absolutely. Well, we know everybody's looking forward to that, and we know, everybody wants it done soon. But April, absolutely, as Wayne mentioned, we've got to the irrigation, and there's several steps to take, and also a way for the community to get involved, which you'll be hearing more on Granbury TV about that, a public naming contest to help us come up with the fun name for our future dog park. So definitely you won't want to miss that, and stay tuned for that. And as Wayne mentioned, it'll be opening later in April.
As an example, I think Fort Worth calls theirs Fort Wolf.
Yes, definitely. So we want just as a fun name that really ties in with the with Granbury and everything we have. So we're looking forward to that.
The city has all of its jobs available on our website at granbury.org/jobs. Once on the website, you will be able to see all the open positions. To learn more about a job, click on the job title. Here, you will be able to find all the information about a single job posting, like qualifications, special requirements, and more. One great feature of the website is the job posting notifications. Simply click the Job Posting Notifications button. This will take you to your notifications. Choose which type of job posting you want to be notified about, and whether you want to receive the notification by email, text, or even both. This is a great way to stay up to date with what jobs are available at the city. We are always looking for positive and motivated people. If you think that you fit this description, then check out our openings at granbury.org/jobs.
Next up, joining us is our IT director, Tony Toll.
Well, we had an existing tower that was located up at the cemetery. It provided the backup police repeater radio for the police department. And during an inspection, a routine inspection on the 24th of January, it was noted that we had some structural defects in the tower, probably caused from the last storm that we had come through. And I contacted the city manager, and we had an emergency assessment team deployed to the site the following day. They took some measurements, a lot of photos, sent them back to the engineers at their home office, and they issued us a letter of assessment that basically told us that the tower was in imminent danger of collapse, and that we needed to get it down immediately. And looking at the weather that was coming up that following week, we were going to have some high winds. So the following day on Saturday, we had a crane crew come out, and they did a dismantle of the tower. We got it down that day about lunch, and it was hauled off on Monday. So where that put us is at risk with police communications, because that's the backup repeater. So if our primary repeater goes down, we now have no communications on the police, for the police officers. So we had put this on the agenda as an emergency replacement.
Right.
We're going back with a slightly higher tower than what we had before. The old one was 165 foot. We're going back with a 250 foot because when we used that repeater, there were holes in some of the areas where the police patrol. So it's important for us to get it up high enough so that if we are going to replace it and put the repeater back up there, that when we do use it, we've got the same coverage as the primary repeater. I'm in the process of submitting an application to the Zoning Board of Adjustment that where the tower is located in the cemetery falls within the historic overlay.
Right.
So even though it was grandfathered in, because we're going back with a structure that has been dismantled and now we're going to put a new one back, I still need to go through the formality of passing this back through the Zoning Board of Adjustment. We'll be filing that application this week, and the ZBA meets, I believe, on the 24th or the 26th. So hopefully we'll be breaking ground the following day. The tower is on the truck and being delivered. We'll stage the material at the cemetery site next to where the tower is, and then wait on ZBA approval to start construction.
Something's always happening in Granbury. For the latest events and happenings, look no further. GranburyTX.com has it all. From events to photos and even the local weather, GranburyTX.com is the place to go for all your local events. That's GranburyTX.com. Log on today. There's always something going on in Granbury. To keep up with the latest events and so much more, like us on Facebook. There are 3 main pages that will keep you up to date. The main city page is facebook.com/GranburyTX. Here you will find the latest events and news from the city. Next is Visit Granbury. Here you will find current events and visitor information. Finally, there's Granbury TV. You will find updates for local events as they happen and our most current shows. Liking us on Facebook is a great way to stay connected.
Well, now I'm sitting here with Heather Juarez, and she is in the Communication and Marketing Department and also handles all of our event permitting processes. So first of all, last night on the council agenda, we had 2 street closures as a result of event permits that have been filed with the department. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
One of those was talking about closing down Crockett Street for a community yard sale benefiting Mayor Pratt and his family.
Yes.
And then the second one we had was for the annual General Granbury's birthday celebration and closed several streets down. Tell us a little bit about why we closed down the streets and also a little bit about the event permitting process.
Okay, yes. We do close down streets for festivals and events at the city. Mostly when we have parades and our big annual festivals. For example, when they do all of their vendors around the courthouse and they have different kinds of events on the streets and for people to be able to walk and safety issues.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit. I know that we, closed down the streets. Tell us a little bit. Can a citizen just do that, or does that need to go through the council approval or TxDOT? Tell the viewers how that works.
Well, first of all, they have to fill out a permit event through me, and they can either come here at City Hall and see me, or they can download it from GranburyTX.com. And once it's filled out and they requested their street closures, it depends. Like, for example, Ridge and Crockett is city streets, so we only go through City Council. Now, when we go through TxDOT streets, for example, Pearl and Houston Street for parades, we have to go through TxDOT, and that takes about 30 to 60 day process.
So it's definitely important, for people that are considering having an event, whether it's a major festival, a parade, or even a 5K run, to definitely come to the city to fill out their event permit process. Tell us a little bit about what that means for public safety. How do the different departments coordinate together for a permit?
Well, first of all, like for example, for a parade, we have to coordinate with our police department to be there to hold off traffic, to be able to be, on the safe side that there's no cars coming through during the parade. We also coordinate with the parks department, which help us put up our stage and anything else that they're needing, tents, anything like that. And then we also coordinate with their street department, which they're the ones that put out the barricades to close down the streets.
Definitely. And also it's very helpful. I mean, the event permit is filled right here in the marketing department. So that also helps us to put that on the website, Granbury TV, social media, and so on. It's just a great public safety tool. Helps us coordinate with the other departments and make sure that we put on the best event possible.
Exactly. And so we can also promote it as well.
Definitely. Well, tell us, is there anything else that you would like to add, tips for the community when they're considering to come out and fill out their permit?
Well, just it is $25 to process your permit, and then if you use any city
Services?
I'm
Right.
sorry. Yes, any city services, we do have additional charges. So as soon as you fill out your permit and you come through me, then I will go ahead and let you know what those additional charges would be.
Definitely.
And it is very important to get your permit in within 60 to 30 days prior to your event.
Absolutely, and as we saw last night, we had 2 of those street closures on the city council agenda, and you know, with plenty of time to go through the due process. So it's very, very important to get that done through the city.
Yes,
so,
it is.
well, is there anything else as we wrap up today that you would like to add?
No, that's all for now.
Great. Thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you, Shayna.